We consulted very widely with experts in the field. We put out a call for evidence and in Wales, but also elsewhere in the UK. We identified people who had a contribution to make, and we organised a series of seminars and meetings to talk about our ideas and other people's ideas. We also talked to the Welsh Assembly government itself and to the Treasury in London and got their perspective on the way the system was operating.
And with those sort of people and actors in your meetings, did you find that everybody had the same opinion on the Barnett formula, or was there widely varying sort of issues and opinions that they raised?
There was some variation in opinions. I think there was probably a majority view that in the long run the Barnett formula should be superseded by a formula that took explicit account of the need for public spending rather than just allocation on the basis of population. But there were some divergent views. I mean, some people think, well, Barnett is sort of working, so let's just not disturb the situation.
I'm talking about that needs-based test, because now Barnett is sort of renowned for its simplicity. Would a needs-based test be complex and overly complex to confuse the issue more, perhaps? Because I know that you advocate the needs-based testing, if I'm right, in the Commission.
We do, yeah. We say that we accept that having a formula prevents there being horse trading each and every year, so it's good to have something semi-automatic like that. But there's no reason why it shouldn't take account of the factors that drive the need for public expenditure. Now, it can be very complicated, as the formulae often are, for allocating funds to local authorities, for example. But actually, it doesn't need to be. I mean, the Barnett's got one variable in it, population. I mean, you could put in a deprivation measure, you could put in a sparsity measure, you could put in a population structure measure like the dependency ratio, and you're already making quite a lot of progress. So it could be reasonably simple, I think.
So do you think then that in the past the simplicity of the Barnett formula has sort of cost Wales sort of financially?
It's quite difficult to say, to reconstruct what a formula would have said about the situation at different times in history is quite difficult. We had to do a lot of work simply to take the formulae that are used in England to distribute health and expenditures and local authority spending across the regions of England, to take those formulae and apply them in Wales to see what Wales would get under the needs-based formulae that are being used within the British government at the present time. That was quite a lot of work. And we came to the conclusion that actually if Wales were being treated as an English region, it would get a little bit more than it's getting now. So, but to do that for each and every year in history would have been, an unending task, really. So we can't do anything about history, so we didn't open that box.
Concentrate on the future. Then.
Exactly.
So a quick last question then: what is next? What does the future hold? Tax raising powers, perhaps?
Well, we will look in part 2 of the report at other sources of finance, and certainly including tax varying powers and borrowing powers for the Assembly. Yeah. Now, anything we say about that would have to be adopted by the politicians, and if we were to suggest extensive tax raising powers like the Calman Commission has for Scotland, for example, I expect that would be subject to a referendum in the Welsh case.
So who knows then?
Who knows?